good, world? It's your dude, Darryl K.
It's your boy, Jake.
Jake's filling in for Quinn, but we still here, coming to you live, Collector's Corner in Baltimore. And we got some awesome comic book reviews for y'all today, don't we, Jacob? What you got for us today, Jacob?
First, I'd like to say, somebody beside me told me I wasn't qualified for this job. You can just shut it.
Okay.
Anyway.
What you got for us today, Jake?
Well, first comic book I want to be reviewing is Deadpool 13. Now, this was hilarious. What they did was they set it in the 70s, and they didn't just set it in the 70s, it was actually drawn like the comic book took place in the 70s, like the same drawings and stuff.
That's awesome.
In this issue, Deadpool hooks up with Luke Cage and Iron Fist, and together they have to stop the white man, which is probably one of the most hilarious concepts. If you were into the movie Black Dynamite, this is like reading Deadpool. There's even a part of the comic book where he goes by Dead Pimp and starts slapping people. So for how much this made me laugh and how crazy this comic book was, I give it a 5 out of 5.
Okay, cool. What's the other one underneath that, Jake?
What else I read today was Superman Unchained, issue 2. Now, issue 1, a lot of people had a lot of complaints with. Wasn't sure I liked it myself, so I gave issue 2 a read to see if it was going to be better. It is a lot better. Storyline's a lot thicker. There's a lot of good writing. There's a back and forth conversation between Superman and Lois Lane's father in this one that's very interesting. Also, a lot of Batman's dialogue in this issue is crazy. The part where he's talking about how he knows that Clark is coming because the bats cover themselves and don't want to show themselves for weeks after he leaves because it's that shattering when he comes. It just helps to sell the power of Superman. It's a really dialogue-driven book or issue, and I really enjoyed that, so I give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Okay, great. And what I got for y'all guys today, first we're going to start off with Aquaman, issue 22. Jeff Johns is still one writing. If y'all guys remember in the last episode, I talked about Aquaman just ran into the Undead King. Basically in this book, he confronts him, and him and the Undead King, they bump heads. And basically Aquaman finds out that he's actually not of his blood, that he's actually not the true king. The Undead King is the first king of Atlantis. He created the Triton. He gave Atlantis all their glory and everything. And Aquaman's finding out for the first time he's not part of their blood, which is pretty devastating to Aquaman, because Aquaman, you know, been always clinging to his past, always trying to find his Atlantean heritage from the beginning. And just to find out that, hey, you're not even part of royal blood, it's kind of like a kick in the butt. But it's really good. Always, the artists always want to point out Aquaman. I cannot never stop to say about Aquaman how I love how, even though you're just in the ocean, they always make every different ocean scene look totally different. Like, you can tell they're in the reefs, you can tell they're in different places. One of the things I love about the Aquaman comics. Also, once again, my girl Mira's here, kicking butt like she always do, always being tough. That's my girl. You know, I love redheads. I give Aquaman 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5. Second comic I got for y'all guys is Pandora number 2. Actually, a tie into the Trinity War. And this comic, I'm letting you know, guys, already is getting a 5 out of 5. You know why? Because of my boy Vandal Savage. Yes, my boy Vandal Savage makes another appearance in Pandora number 2. Basically, Vandal Savage is coming looking for the box of Pandora, and he's teaming up with Signal Man. If y'all don't know who Signal Man is, his powers are exactly what you think it is. He can pick up signals and find out where people are, and he wears a ridiculous costume. And he also has Giganta with her, who also makes her first appearance in the New 52, which is actually kind of refreshing, because a lot of people forget that Giganta is even a DC character, unless you watch the Justice League series or the old Super Friends from the old 1970s. But they're all here, fun and games. They're all on Vandal Savage team looking for Pandora because they want the box. Vandal Savage basically thinks the box will make him a god and will give him ungodly-like powers. And as you can remember from when me and Quinn did our spotlight a couple episodes back, the box only can be opened by somebody with the purest heart or the darkest heart. So basically, after Vandal Savage beats the crap out of everybody, like he always do because he's tough or whatever, Pandora decides, hey, you know what? Open the box up. You have one of the darkest hearts I know because you've been alive for so long. Or your heart is filled with dust and dark. He's opened the box. Doesn't work. It doesn't open. He gets hit by some stuff, mystical stuff. I don't want to really ruin it for y'all because the ending is really something y'all want to read, but definitely check it out. He does actually tries to open the box up in this. This is definitely a great tie into the Trinity War. I give this book 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5. Alright, Jake, I guess your movie review is up next. What you got for us this week?
Let's see. Now this weekend, I was very tempted to go see The Conjuring. And I didn't see it. So, I ended up seeing Wolverine. people were hesitant on seeing this movie because, you know, let's be honest. Wolverine Origins sucked.
I know how you feel about it, Wolverine, but
I gave this one a chance because I'm an idiot. But I was not disappointed by the movie. Now, in the movie, Wolverine is a shut-in and kind of a hobo of the mountains because this takes place after Part 3. And if you remember what happened in Part 3, he killed the love of his life, his very long life. And if you go by X-Men Origins, this would be the second love of his life because you have to count Silver Fox. Anyway, he is found in the mountains by this Japanese girl who kicks the most butt you have ever seen in a movie. Very awkward face though. Then she invites him to Japan so he may be thanked by one of the richest people in Japan who apparently he saved when they were younger. And then it just turns into this whole fiasco about, oh, Wolverine's losing his powers. And then you have to see him really struggle. Because, you know, you realize Wolverine without the power to heal fast is kind of just a guy with claws. And it's that human side to Wolverine that you get to see more. You get to see him weak, which is very interesting story arc for the movie and very good acting by Hugh Jackman. He then falls in love, which is weird because he spends the whole movie getting flashes of his old love while falling in. Anyway, the fight scenes are epic in this film. The action is constant. When it slows down and you think the action is stopping, it keeps going and coming back. And it has some really good Japanese actors in it. Like, I was looking at the Japanese cast alone, I was like, wow, these are all really talented guys. This movie's gonna be great, and it was. So for me, I give it a 6.5 out of 10. I definitely think it's better than X-Men Origins Wolverine, and the ending. Ooh, stick around till after the credits. With the after credit scene, the movie becomes a 9 out of 10. I'm Jacob Mayberry. Don't lose your virginity.
Super Team Extraordinaire, Freakazoids, runs around in underwear, Freakazoids.
Question of the week is, what is your favorite graphic novel?
I'd have to say the first, Grant Morrison's run on Animal Man.
Batman Hush. My favorite graphic novel is Batman Dark Knight Returns.
Alright, world. Coming to you right now with your broken superhero of the week. And then the theme of Wolverine, we are going to do Wolverine. Let's talk about Wolverine. First of all, I always found Wolverine as a funny character just because Wolverine started out as a young child. He was a very sickly character. He got sick a lot, allergies always bugged him a lot, and then he just randomly grew up to be this most broken character in the Marvel Universe. Well, one of the most broken, because there's a lot of broken people in Marvel. But we're talking about Wolverine today. First, let's go down his adamantium skeleton. First of all, how is it even possible for anybody to have a metal skeleton in their body? We already know it was injected and all this other stuff, but really, dude shouldn't even be alive after that. Part of his brokenness, basically he's immune to anything. It has been proven through time that Wolverine can survive the most craziest allergies, diseases, or anything. Matter of fact, I think they made a cure off Wolverine regeneration cells, like in the X-Men cartoon back in the 90s, to cure the academic food that was killing all the mutants then. Also, let's get to Wolverine, his height. He always seems to vary in height. It seems like every time an author always gets their hands on Wolverine, they always put him at 5'8" to like 6'3", and always put him from like 190 to like 300 pounds, which really doesn't matter, but I say that's pretty broken because it's basically when Wolverine fights anybody, he always seems to mash it well against them. For example, when he fought the Hulk, Wolverine was like 260, 270 then when he fought the Hulk. And was like stronger than he normally was or whatever. So basically one of his brokenness is that the writers never know what to do with him, which I find as a funny brokenness about him. He is skilled in martial arts, as everybody knows seeing the Wolverine movie. He definitely skilled in martial arts. The most broken thing about Wolverine that I want to say is that he never aged. He always seems to be around no matter what crisis is going on in Marvel. He always seems to be around no matter what. He never really seems to die. I mean, the Hulk ripped his body in half and he had to like crawl back to it just to put his body back together. So there you go, guys. The broken superhero of the week, Wolverine, the character that just won't ever die. That's always around. And that's what Darryl K Says.
That was Patty. Alright, 5, 4, 3, 2, and I'm ghost.